Hey guys, it's Jasmine and I am back with another nursing vlog. This is kind of late because I think I only have like a week until school starts back, but I was just enjoying my time off. I was getting a lot of sleep, a lot of much needed sleep that I was not getting while school was in. Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. It's just eating and sleeping and catching up on YouTube videos and stuff that I'm not able to do when I'm in school. So I'm finally a little bit more energized to bring you guys a nursing school wrap-up video. So I just actually finished PEDs. So I did pediatric lecture and pediatric clinicals. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. So if you're interested, continue to watch. What I'm going to do is start with the lecture, coursework, all that stuff. So this is the book that we used, and it is Nursing Care of Children, Principles and Practice. So all of these little tabs do not belong to me. I actually borrowed this book from a classmate. She started with me, but she went through the summer, as where I took a break during the summer. She went through the summer and she graduates actually sometime this week. So she's already finished. But she was nice enough to let me use her book so I didn't have to fork out my own money. And those are her initials. She's so sweet. She was actually the same girl who let me borrow her OB book. So me and another girl kind of just switched back and forth, and now we're going back to med surg. So already got all the books for that, but all of these little tabs are hers, and it's just a breakdown of all of the chapters. I'm gonna tell you guys, first off, I did not open this book but twice, and that was to do patho for my clinical paperwork. So did I really need this book? No. Did I read this book? No. Did I study anything from this book? Absolutely not. For this class, basically all you need is your lecture notes and the workbook that goes to this book, and you need to show up to class. That's pretty much all you needed to pass this class. So we had 2 class lecture days a week, and every single class you go to, she would lecture, and then at the end of the lecture we would have a quiz over those chapters. And pretty much if you paid attention and you do the workbook, you should ace the quizzes. They're really not, I stressed about it at first, but I realized that as long as you pay attention to lecture and you're present and not like texting or on your phone or browsing the web on your computer, and you're actually listening, you will pretty much ace all of the quizzes except the cardio quiz. That was the hardest quiz we took. I ended up getting 100 on it. I don't know how. I just don't. Some of them were educated guesses, and it just worked out for me. But I can tell you that was the hardest quiz that we took. Cardio for me is always the hardest. For some reason it just doesn't click. Foundations to, I don't even think we did cardio and foundations. Honestly guys, I can't tell you what we did in foundations. Foundations is a blur. If I had to take a foundations test right now, I would probably fail it, but that's not the point. Any med surg cardio that we went over, OB cardio, peds cardio, I always struggle on those. For some reason, and cardio just doesn't click to me. I need someone to kind of like break it down for me, and I just always need extra help with cardio. So I know if I'm doing cardio, I need to be at those lectures, and I need to ask questions because sometimes I just don't get it. I'm okay with that. I won't get everything. I know what my weak point is, and as long as I know that, you know when to get help. So we had a total of, I think 10 quizzes. Was it 10? No, it was more than 10. I think 12, 10, I don't know. 10 or 12 quizzes, something in between there. And the 2 lowest grades were dropped. And combined, quiz grades were only worth 10% of your grade. So it can bump you up a little bit. Or if you know you don't show up to class and you don't take quizzes, it can bump you down a little bit. So though I think our instructor did that to make sure we had everybody showing up to class And our class in general did good as a whole. I don't think we lost any people that I'm aware of. Mostly everybody that I know that was kind of borderline struggling ended up passing. Anyways, what I realized in this class was I didn't use a template, or I didn't like break all the diseases down. I went directly off of our instructor's notes. Her notes were detailed notes. So what I would do was print them off, and as we were going through lecture, if there's something that she emphasized on that wasn't in the notes, I would make sure to write it down. Or if she would ask questions about something and she wants class participation on it, I would make sure to like make little notes. Or even if it was something that I thought is important that's probably not really that important and is just more need to know information, I will still write it down. And I ended up leaving the class with a 90.45. So I struggled for that A, but I got it. And I needed it for my GPA. My GPA isn't bad, but it's just not where I want to be. I know I'm not going to graduate with honors, which is fine. But I just really wanted this A to just increase my GPA a little bit. And that's just because I just wanted it to be higher. It got really hard towards the end. I can say that our final was the hardest. That's what I got my lowest grade on. I ended up getting an 86 on, no, I got an 84 on the final. And I was okay with that because half of it was new information and then half of it was cumulative information. And I was just trying to cram study for that final, and I shouldn't have done it like that, but that's what I did. So I was happy to leave with a B on the final because I didn't even think I was going to get that. So that's kind of one thing that sucks when you start off with really good grades at the beginning of the semester. I started off, my first test I got a 96, my second test I got a 94. And then it's kind of like, I was like, oh, I got an A, I'm good. So you don't study as hard, and sometimes you like procrastinate and say, oh, I'll study tomorrow, and then it kind of backfires on you. So good thing I started out with such high grades, because I ended up, like I said, leaving with a 90.45, which was like right on the money. And in nursing school, they do not round. So if I would have left with like an 89.99, it would have been an 89.99, and I would have left that class with a B, because there's no such thing as rounding in nursing school. It just does not happen. So like I said, this class, pretty much if you showed up to class, you took really detailed notes, and you paid attention, and you do really good on your quizzes, there's pretty much no reason why you should fail. We did do I think one study group for this class, which I mean, I was okay with, because I was doing pretty good in the class anyways. But I know for my next class, I'm definitely going to need more than just one study group. Yeah, that was pretty much everything. ATI was ridiculous. So ATI has now been updated to 2013. The past semesters we have been doing 2010, but you know, they update every so many years, and so we've started this updated one. And I was pretty pissed because I got a level 2. Majority of our class got level 2s, and one person got a level 1, and then one person got a below a level 1, and there were no 3s, which is ridiculous because we got some really pretty smart people in our class. A majority of us who got level 2s, like we have to do mandatory remediation. Whatever section you got wrong, you print out a focus review, and you go through the focus review, look it up in your ATI book, and you write 2 to 3 sentences on it or whatever. So we found some information that was actually incorrect on ATI. Like, you know, you can remember some of the questions that you kind of struggle with. So we went to the instructor and was like, you know, the answer in ATI was not even an option on the test. You know, what do you do in that situation? And she was just like, I don't know. So that was really frustrating. I felt like I studied for a level 3, because this was the first time I actually really studied for ATI. Usually all I do is do the practice test and then just show up and take it, and I usually do pretty good. But I actually really studied hard for this one, and because I wanted to make sure I kept my A, and I got a level 2 anyways, so that sucked. But that was pretty much it for ATI. Clinicals for peds. This was the only clinical I dreaded every single week. I don't like to work with kids because, I don't know, the smaller kids, they can't tell you what's wrong with them. They can't tell you how much pain they're in. You have to kind of go by how they look, facial expressions, and then you have to deal more with the parents, and the parents are like overly assertive, and it's kind of like, my kid whined a little bit, this pain medication must not be working, and we literally just gave it like 2 seconds ago. And so you have to deal more with worried parents, which I've been on that side, so I know as a parent, when your kid is sick or doesn't feel good, it's hard and you want them to be better right then. And being on the opposite side of that, I know that the doctor and the nurses can't do anything to stop the pain immediately. So I didn't really like that. Then on the floor, we didn't really have a lot of kids to choose from. I tried to choose kids that were kind of older, like in their teens. I think my first patient was actually 17, and she was so sweet. And everybody else, I think I had like an 11-year-old, and I think I had a 14 or 15-year-old. It was a male. But I try to pick the older kids because I want to be able for them to tell me what's wrong with them and when they're in pain, and you know, where it hurts, and describe how it hurts. And I think that's just because I'm used to being in the med-surg environment where you are dealing with a lot of older people. So yeah, I really didn't like ped clinicals. I got through it, but I didn't like it. My instructor was awesome. She was really nice. The hospital that we were at was really nice. It was I think it's, well, it's not the newest one, but it's like the second to the newest hospital in this little branch of hospitals, without telling you guys where I go. So that was pretty nice, but I just really didn't like being in the peds section. The nurses on the floor were really sweet and willing to help, but it was just like I still dreaded going. I liked the OR because the surgeon that I worked with, the OR circulating nurse, were really nice, and he was really educational. He would like bring you up really close and show you exactly what he was doing, and you know, we did some appies so I could see on the big screen exactly what was going on, and that was really nice. ER was really fun just because you kind of have them coming in and out. We didn't have any big traumas. We had a scarlet fever, which was random because we were talking about scarlet fever in lecture, and they were saying how it's not something that you see all the time. And literally the next week I went into the ER and we had like 4 cases of scarlet fever. We had like your typical colds, strep throat, some mono, a broken leg due to a skateboard accident, and just like some typical kid stuff, but there was like no trauma. So I went to the ER twice, but both times it was a lot of fun. We had the same nurses on both times I went, so they were really nice and helpful. But overall, in general, peds clinical is just not my thing, and I just didn't really enjoy it. Because I've always knew no matter what I end up doing as a nurse, I do not want to be a peds nurse. I do not want to deal with sick kids. It's just not my thing. So that was just, I just knew that that's not what I wanted to do, and I think that kind of had an effect on why I didn't really like it as much either. So yeah, clinical paperwork, let's get to that. Clinical paperwork was a little ridiculous. It wasn't really long. It didn't take me a long time to do it. Like some people had previously told me that it was going to be super long, but it wasn't long. It was just very like tedious. A lot of stuff was repetition. Like you would have to do your patho, and then you would have to do a concept mat, and then it would just break it down into a table to tell you like what the potential complications are based on what patho and what would you do to correct it, which is kind of like the same thing. So it's like doing the same thing 3 times but just in different formats. So that was kind of stupid to me. I told our instructor, and she said that they're currently working on revising paperwork for the upcoming class, but that doesn't help me any. But yeah, so I never had really issues in clinicals. My instructor told me, you know, well, she actually thought I was a previous LVN based off of my clinical paperwork, and I said no, I just started off with a really good clinical instructor who would not let us BS paperwork, and he wanted it right, and he wanted it the way he wanted it, and I've just followed those steps throughout school, and my clinical paperwork has always been awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my PEDS wrap up. I'm happy to be done with it. PEDS is typically, from the people who graduate before us, they say PEDS and advanced are the two hardest classes, which advanced is what I go into next. Advanced med surg. So those two are what are typically said to be the hardest other than pharmacology. And they say pretty much if you can get past PEDS and you can get past advanced, then you're golden. So I left PEDS with an A. I'm hoping to leave advanced with an A, or at least a high B, that I'm not like on the fence, and go on to management and then graduate. As of right now, my graduation date, I think it's May 7th or 8th. I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to take it one class at a time. But yeah, as of right now, I do graduate in May, as long as I can stay on track and not fail a class. Because, you know, if you fail, then you have to retake the class. But as of right now, I'll be graduating in May. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about nursing school in general, feel free to leave those below in the description box, and I'll do like a nursing school Q&A. If you have any comments or words of encouragement, all that good stuff, leave those below, because I'm coming up on my final semester and I'm so excited and nervous at the same time, but I'm ready. And until the next nursing school wrap up, I'll see all of you huns later. Bye.